Strombacchione. Hey, you know what time it is, No Press Man? Welcome everyone to another episode of The Beatdown, the segment where two worlds collide. I am your host, Class. This is my co-host, Biggs. Doing it big, baby. And as a friendly reminder, if you guys enjoy our content, you know what you can do. You can share, subscribe, leave a comment, or turn on your notifications to get the latest episodes. Yeah, and in honor of the recent Moon Knight series that just came out, we decided we're going to do another episode with this particular character. Only this time, he's going to have his godly magical powers. And I'll be representing Marvel Comics' Moon Knight. Alright, let's talk about brief origin stories wise. Mark Spector, aka Moon Knight. In the beginning, he was a soldier for hire. He used to be a military man, then he became a soldier for hire with his buddy Frenchie. And eventually, one of the missions go horribly wrong. He's left for dead in the desert. He wanders the desert, and he eventually is almost about to die when suddenly a small villager of people show up, and they decide to take him to the temple where they worship a god named Khonshu. Now, Khonshu is the moon god, and he has tremendous power. So he actually legitimately is a godly being with inside, I guess, a statue or a tomb or whatever. So he offers Mark Spector the chance to live as long as he decides to be his avatar for vengeance. So there begins the beginning of Moon Knight. All right, now that we got Moon Knight's brief origin out of the way, let's talk about a few of his powers and his abilities, shall we? Let's just start off with the basics, okay? Equipment-wise, everything in his arsenal is made out of adamantium, which is Wolverine's bones. If you don't know, it's one of the strongest form of metals out there. On top of that, he decided to switch his armor suit from adamantium to carbonadium because it's a little lighter, but it's almost the same as adamantium. That being said, he has the same basic weapons that you would get from Batman. He has a plane that's the shape of a moon. He has a Trechin, which is like a grappling hook. He has those moon crescent darts that he can throw. Like, there's a lot of things that Moon Knight has that is very strong metal material that he could use to his advantage. Unfortunately, going against a magical being is not really going to do as much damage as I would hope it would. Okay, so let's run down the list, shall we? Moon Knight can absorb other powers. That's right, he can absorb other mystical, magical beings' powers, so don't sell him short on this end. He gains immense power from the moon. So from the moon, he can harness enough power to gain enough strength to lift 2 tons worth of stuff of weight. He punched a hole through metal. That's actually pretty impressive. He broke a gun into pieces with his own foot. I mean, not anybody can do that. Hulk can bend metal and stuff, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody break it into pieces. Held his own against Venom. Venom is a very strong, symbiote. Let's not BS that. Fought all at once. Now this is interesting. He fought all at once Beast, Daredevil, Black Knight, She-Hulk, Gambit, Iron Man, Nova, Mr. Fantastic, and even more. He held his own against all those beings, and those beings are top level beings. They're not easy to beat. They're not regular human beings. He held his own against Doctor Doom, survived the blast against Doctor Doom, which is pretty impressive. Shang-Chi has claimed him to be one of the most impressive skilled fighters he's seen. Top level skilled fighters. And being told by Shang-Chi that you're an impressive fighter says a lot, because Shang-Chi is one of the ultimate Marvel martial arts experts out there. Moon Knight fought against Deadpool. Okay, so this is interesting. So they fought against each other. And of course, Moon Knight was trying to eliminate Deadpool, but Deadpool has the healing factor. So they're like, how's he going to do that? Eventually, Moon Knight got pissed off because Deadpool kept healing to a point where he just kept torturing Deadpool and cutting him up into tiny pieces each and every time, to a point where Deadpool decides to call Uncle and just gives up, knowing how much pain Moon Knight had put him through. So that is, what can I say? That's a bad to the bone guy you don't want to mess with. He has a pain tolerance. This was a perfect example when he went against Taskmaster. Taskmaster is somebody who can imitate anybody. He's one of the known best fighters out there in the Marvel universe. And he went against Moon Knight, and he couldn't imitate Moon Knight's maneuvers because Moon Knight doesn't just use basic fighting skills. He actually takes the hits and the blows, the stabs and everything like that, and then just brings it right back. So not being able to counter maneuver that scared Taskmaster into surrendering. That's how dangerous Moon Knight was. He was a heavyweight boxing champion, enhanced brain functions, which means he's connected to a godly being. So he that's saying something there. He gets phase transformation. He can go through things. He's self-sustaining, meaning he can go and he can fight outside the planet, the vacuum of space, if he needs to. He's immortal. You can't just kill him easily. And if he's in a situation where he's in a fight, he could use the Eye Agamotto or Thor's Mjolnir's hammer. Thor's hammer, because it's made out of a moon star, so it's connected to Moon Knight in that kind of way. Okay, now we got all that list out of the way. How Moon Knight would win this one? Moon Knight would actually have to have this fight end quickly. The more longer this fight goes, the more Dr. Fate has a chance to manipulate it to his favor. Let's get real. The guy can control dimensions, multiverses, time travel, all this stuff. So all that magical, mystical beings, Moon Knight doesn't really have that. He is limited to godly powers. So he's not able to do exactly what Dr. Fate can do. But if he does it quickly, he could eliminate Dr. Fate. Now, here's how I see this playing out. Even if, let's say, Dr. Fate and Moon Knight get into a long period of fight, Moon Knight has a high tolerance of pain. He could take a long period of time with pain. So even if Dr. Fate decides to throw objects at him or throw fists at him, Moon Knight will be able to take anything being dished out at him. And let's not forget, he still has immortality, so he's good to go there. I would have to take the helmet off of Dr. Fate, because that's the only expose of opportunity he's going to have to be able to do the one thing that I said before in the beginning, which is absorb powers. So he can absorb Moon Knight's remaining powers. Let's say he takes the helmet out, he still has the necklace and the cloak of destiny, and he still has some kind of mystical powers to be able to channel. It gives Moon Knight a chance to absorb that power. If he absorbs that power, Moon Knight was able to absorb the Phoenix Force. I do believe he can absorb Dr. Fate's powers, which means that if he can do that, he'll be able to use it against Dr. Fate and then just wipe Dr. Fate out of existence if he wants to and claim the win. Moon Knight is really a fully impressive fighter, but my guy is a doctor. I'll be representing DC Comics, Dr. Fate. Okay, brief origin time. Alright. Kent Nelson, aka Dr. Fate. In the beginning, Kent was a child with his father who was an archaeologist. They went and stumbled across in Egypt a temple, coincidentally, not the same temple as Moon Knight, huh? But they stumbled across a temple that had a tomb inside, and inside contained Nabu the Wise, I guess. His name is Wise, but it's Nabu anyways. Now, out of curiosity, Kent decided to pull the lever, and he releases the lever, releasing out of his slumber Nabu. Now, Nabu, unfortunately, he was gracious enough to thank Kent for letting him out. Sadly, during this whole situation, some kind of poisonous smoke was in the air. His father took in the smoke and it killed him. So in order to make things right, in order for Nabu to make things right for Kent after losing his father, he decided to teach him the ways of the mystic arts of the universe. So he taught him how to use the power, and then eventually Nabu decides to give him 3 amazing gifts. He gives him the Helmet of Fate, the Amulet of Anubis, and the Cloak of Destiny. So he gives him that, and out of that rises Dr. Fate. And that is the brief origin story of Dr. Fate. Let's go through all the powers, abilities, everything he got. All right. He's got the helmet and the amulet that possesses their own universes within it, with the amulet being able to trap humans inside of it. That's crazy. Magic sense. He can feel the presence of magic in his surroundings, so he'll be able to see or sense Moon Knight's God power if he needs to. Awareness, he could be tuned into with the cosmos and feel incoming mystical events. That's interesting. Aurora detection, he can sense other people's aurora and determine if they are aligned with good or evil or none. Astral projection, energy construct creation. At the beginning of his career, Fate transported various JSA members through the Atlantic with energy generated tentacles. That's crazy. Energy negation, which is he destroyed the creative power of the norms. Energy resistance, healing illusion, casting, invisibility, magnetic manipulation, hypnosis, molecular reconstruction, phasing, resurrection, telepathy, teleportation, biovision, fission, and divine empowerment. Those are a few powers to name that Dr. Fate can do. Let me just say how this plays out. Let's be realistic here. Short game or long game, Dr. Fate has this. He's got magical powers. He can manipulate time. He can get them stuck in a loop. He can transfer them to a different dimension where there is no moon. That's the one thing he could do to kind of weaken Moon Knight. Just transfer him to a different dimension where there's no moon. So now Moon Knight has to face Dr. Fate just bare hands, which won't really do much because Dr. Fate can just throw any kind of energy bolts at him, an object at him. He can lift him up and telekinesis style. He can do a bunch of stuff. So even if Moonlight decides to throw any weapons at him, he could just, make it disappear or change it into anything. That's Dr. Fate's abilities. He can wrap him in his magical chains and kind of just to keep him locked in that. I mean, Moon Knight is strong, but I don't know if he's able to break the chains of Dr. Fate, who is able to move continents with it. Okay? So I don't know if that's possible. Dr. Fate could create a black hole out of thin air and just have him sucked into it. Dr. Fate has a lot of things in his element. And so long game wise, he'll be able to figure out how to kind of put Moon Knight to rest because Moon Knight is still human. So if he figures out Moon Knight's abilities, figures out the limits of Moon Knight and where to find his weakness, he'll take advantage of it and do whatever he wants. But he can duplicate himself in order to throw a lot of enemies at Moon Knight. He can wrap him in chains. He can shoot bolts at him. He can trap him in a time loop. He can switch him to a different dimension. He can do a bunch of things. He can make his weapons into candy or flour if he wanted to when he tries throwing it at him. Either way, Dr. Fate has just a lot in his corner. So short term, Dr. Fate could just use like a quick teleportation thing or put him in a black hole immediately if he needs to. Or in the long run game, either way, Dr. Fate will be able to use any kind of magic he wants. So long term wise, he's got this in the bag. Short term wise, he just needs to pop out with some chaotic kind of, storm, and he could probably put Moonlight out of commission in that essence, therefore giving Dr. Fate the win. So if you guys like my argument, you know what you can do? You can hashtag Moon Knight. And if you guys like my argument, you know what you can do? You can hashtag Dr. Fate. And as always, no press, man. We really appreciate you guys. Catch you guys later. Peace.